live stream, I thought I would do another one. Now, I'm thinking I would do a mishmash here until people start coming in asking questions and answer some other questions that have been given. I'm trialing a few different mics, so let me know if the audio is fine when you come in. And I'm trialing different software. Now, I am not an expert at live streaming, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy doing things where I'm not prepared for it, and people ask me on the hop. Now, before we get into the stocks and shares element of it, I started as a saving money show to not just for the shares, but to save money and invest and spend money, find different areas, and my early ones are with that as well. And one thing people don't seem to be aware is like cashback sites. I have links to cashback sites. In over a year, I've saved £2,000 from a cashback site. As I said, there's a link down below where you'll get a free sign-up bonus. And I saved £2,000 from just clicking through to the websites through a cashback site myself. Now, we move on from that to, and I see someone's joined. I hope you can hear me correctly. If you can, great. If not, then please let me know. I'm going to start with the Fed. Basically, Fed has come out and said how they will carry on with their money printer based with their stimulus. What they do is they buy a majority of bonds and mortgage-backed securities, and that's how they keep it propped up. And they said how there won't be any interest rate rises. But if the economy carries on doing so well, I think they're protesting too much. They're not going to come out and say, oh, we're going to raise the interest rates, because then everyone will sell, especially with the risk of Biden increasing tax on people selling. I think it will come out later on in the year, either the third or fourth quarter. They will do it slowly, drop hints. They will slowly stop spending so much on these bonds, and then you will end up with them just altogether stopping with the bonds, and them saying afterwards they're going to raise interest rates. Now, people need to be aware. They want to try and limit their margin, limit their debt. Of course, what happens when that happens? A lot of people who have borrowed money to go into the stock market, because the stock market only goes one way, is they are going to pull their money out of the market. And that's when you get things like gold, crypto. And believe me, I'm not a crypto bull. I did go into Bitcoin at 6k, but that's because it costs more than 7k in energy costs to mine a coin. But I sold out a while ago because I didn't do my due diligence. Now, you will have all of them rising. Now, we are having what I said about we're going to have what I think is a super cycle coming on, and this super cycle is going to be so this super cycle is you're going to have, starting with 5G, and of course you'll have all the 5G providers, mobile providers, they'll start going up, but then 5G will help bring on all the other tech companies, the autonomous driving, all of these will start going. We will have super cycle with biotech. Remember, this last year that's just passed has just come and hi TPD Investing, nice to see you here again. Don't forget to check out his channel. He's an avid subscriber and supporter. They have fast-tracked a lot of companies and a lot of drugs that would usually take 3, 5, 8 years to get through, and so we're going to have a lot of drugs coming on the market. And one of them that I spoke about before, Arena Pharmaceuticals, which is a company which is going in, that will become, if it gets FDA approval next month, would be the only other one in there is GlaxoSmithKline, and they apparently have a better product than them. And this is a company with a market cap of 1.8 billion. Now, this company would never have got to this stage if the Rona hadn't happened. And you get loads of companies like this, companies whose only chance of survival in the past had been patents to big companies. Now you're seeing them become big companies because of what's happening. And I can see a push forward in biotech because of this. We've seen big tech come forward 5 years in 1 year. Now, Cathy Wood said about an EV bubble. By that, I think it's a case that EVs and green energy has just been kept down for so long, it's just come up to where it should be. But anything attached to it, EV or green energy, has just soared. The thing is, what you got to be aware of is that we choose good companies. Same with any penny stocks, same with anything. They've got to be able to stand on their own feet if they're not getting the contracts in. We can't ignore the fundamentals just because we like the product coming in, unless they're the only ones with this product. They have like something that no one else has. And there's so many EV companies out there now. It's such a flooded market. You know, it's not like, oh, Tesla's the only EV company or NIO's the only one. You have a lot of companies to choose from, and you have to choose wisely, because what will happen is there will be a time when, hi Market Scraper, how you doing? Nice to see you in there. And what will happen is you will get a consolidation or a drop, and then some of these smaller companies will not recover from it. And that's why you want to choose wisely. The same with the MJ stocks. You want to make sure they have something that can separate them from the other companies. Because I've been asked about some of the companies I put forward. They either have financials which can keep them going, and they have products and growth which are going in the right direction. Now, I've been looking into a couple of companies, and there's a company that if anyone wants me to answer any questions, just ask them. But there's a company that I'm looking at, and I still need to do some due diligence. It's called Ideal Power. This is the kind of company I'm talking about. Now, they do switches for solar power companies and for EV charging companies. Now, most of the switches, they give up to 97% saving on the energy, and this one gives a 99%, which means you will be saving 2% energy, which improves the charging time and the efficiency, which is a great selling point for them. On top of that, they've been reducing their liabilities over the past 12 months and improving their assets. They have a number of IPs, and if they don't end up growing, I can see them, which I don't think will happen, I can see them as a good acquisition target. I do think we are getting to a stage where, I wouldn't say a crash, but a slowdown in the market. I do think we're going to get a lot of people pulling money out of the market in the next month or two. We are getting a lot of people who are overextended, and a lot of people are waiting to find out what the president is going to do, what his policies are going to be, and I think a lot of people will pull money out. It's not just the taxes that they will put on these companies, because a lot of these companies can get around these taxes with creative accounting. It's the smaller ones that won't. It is when they, as I said before, it's when they end up increasing the hourly wage. You increase the hourly wage from $10 to $15, and I'm all for increasing the minimum wage. Then a company that's barely getting by has an increase in taxes, has a 50% increase in their wages. You know, that's when things start to hit their balance sheet. That's why you need to research a company to make sure its finances are good and not just go on hype. I was asked last week about GameStop. I'm not in GameStop. The reason why I do think it's a next blockbuster, good luck to everyone who's in it. I do think it's making you a lot of money just because it's so heavily shorted. You did well there. I went into Fubo TV, as I said last week, because it had 60% short in it, and I could see a short squeeze coming soon. It had fallen back down to I call it the pre-run up levels. It was oversold, so I'm sure it will come up. Anyone who hasn't seen Market Scrapers channel, it's a good channel, you might want to check it out. The thing is, as a company, it's not going to be there long term, and I don't think there's anyone who can think that it will be. And I think people are just there for the shorts. That's why, if I'm going to get in something because of a short squeeze, I'd rather get in a company that has a potential to be there in a year or two and still have a short squeeze on it. Workhorse is incredibly shorted. As I said, Fubo. I've done a video on companies that are shorted before. I use FinFizz. There's a number of different screeners you can use. I've shown you how I find it. Well, one of the ways I find it. I also use a number of other things. You're welcome, Market Scraper. The thing is, as I keep saying, it doesn't matter what I say, what anyone else says. You always have to do your own due diligence, because at the end of the day, whether it's me or Jeremy from Financial Education or Jack Spencer or someone else, you know, no matter who it is who's doing a video on something, we're here to, or Market Scraper or TPD Investing, we're here to entertain, educate, to give you information and point you in the right direction, and then for you to go and do your own research. That's why I've said to people before, when someone said to me how I've earned him a load of money, I said to him, I haven't earned him anything. You know, he's the one who took the plunge. If he could have lost everything if it had gone the other way around. And I explained to him the importance of doing due diligence. And people will start criticizing whenever there's a downturn in the market and someone said, you know, this is a stock I'm going into. You know, for instance, there was a time when everyone was saying going to GEVO, and then it dropped, and then we didn't hear anything about it anymore. When everyone was saying going into a very good food company. And, you know, I got a lot of flack when I said I wasn't going into it, and I did a video on why I wasn't going into it. Exactly, Market Scraper. The problem with a broad minimum wage increase is that the standard of living in cities and states is quite different. For instance, I live in London, inner London, and the cost of living in inner London is so much different to living out of London, let alone than living in another place. I have a property now. I live in a maisonette in inner London that's worth a lot of money, yet I have a property up north that's near the beach. It's near main railway station, near the city centre. They've got like this old Kcac type boat near there, like near the marina, and I rent it out, and it's a 3-bedroom house, can be extended to 4 bedrooms, and it costs less than £30,000. Yeah, where I live, couldn't get a place like that. Couldn't get a 1-bedroom flat for that. You know, it's all about where you live, and I think a fairer assumption would be where you live rather than where you live and where you work, rather than just a broad one. But then again, that doesn't really help people who live in places like ghettos and that, because they're going to end up with less, because it costs less to employ them, because they're earning less, you know, and they're the ones who need the increase. I mean, look at what's happening now. People, with the first lockdown, people moved out of it, inner cities in the US to the suburbs, because they realised they'd be spending more time at home, and when they were going to return to work, they didn't mind commuting. But you know, people should see that as an opportunity. You know, they should have seen that as going to estate agents of inner city, those with money or those with good credit rating, and putting lowballing such a lowball offer in, so that when this whole thing is over, you know, they can rent it out, they can, and the price comes back up again. I mean, I said when there was rumours of the first rumour of Elon Musk moving to Texas, I said it makes sense. He's got SpaceX there, and I said then, even if he didn't, there were more and more companies moving there, buying a place in Texas. You know, 0 interest rate. Why are more and more people not moving there? You know, I'm surprised. I said I'm surprised more and more people aren't moving there. And Vegas, and then I said I understand Vegas because you have areas where there's a high crime and that, but the thing is, people are now looking at not just companies but people, workers as well, the bottom dollar. They're re-evaluating because they've got the time to. In the past, they've been so busy with work, home life and social life, they haven't had the time to re-evaluate all this stuff. Now they've got the time to do it, which is why more and more people are going into the stock market. They realise all these years I've lost, where I could have built up my wealth, putting it into a 1%, 2% account, which is now 0.01%, I could have been earning 8% to 15% a year. And the other problem is that the governments have used this situation to replace workers with automation, or just replace workers. Ryanair, last summer, they let off 3/4 of their workforce and nothing was said. And then what happened? They was applauded last October, November for taking on staff apprentices, and they got a grant from the government. I'm thinking, why didn't they bring back the staff that they'd let go? You were getting if we own the tech companies, it's good for us, but you're getting companies being allowed to let go of staff and replace them with automation. Whereas in the past, the unions would have been up in arms, the unions would have been out on the picket line. But now, see, market scraper, exactly. You've been looking at Texas for a couple of years. The thing is, why wouldn't you? In the past, Texas had this reputation, you know, gun-toting, cowboy hat wearing. But you look at California, you're going to pay most of the money you will earn, or most of the money from your properties, in taxes, and you have fires every year. You have some kind of disaster every year. They're even talking, whether it's true or not, about getting rid of the EV rebates. Now, I can't see it happening because they're one of the first to bring them in, but because they've, you know, so many people are leaving to go to places like Vegas and Texas. Now, when people were putting boulders outside their front door so that homeless people wouldn't be camping out there, did they go and do something about the homeless people? No. What they did was they paid a certain amount to come along and remove the boulders, which would have been more expensive. it's the way they think. You know, it's, oh well, it's not my department, but this thing is my department, and I have it in my budget. How do you have it in your budget? Well, we've just raised your taxes. You know, and the thing is, people are realizing the depreciation of the dollar, the depreciation of the pound is going to get ridiculous. They're talking about raising national insurance in UK. They're talking about raising the taxes in UK as well, and cutting the benefits. You know, the cost in inner cities have always been more than it has been outside of the cities. And then you get places like New York and California where people want to live. You know, they think they keep putting the prices up, like the taxes and the prices up, because they think people are going to pay it. And they did the same with Los Angeles. They skyrocketed, you know, and in the end they price people out, especially during something like that. It's nice to see you again, Carl. The thing is, in the past, people didn't want to move because it was an inconvenience, it was a cost to move, and it was a hassle. Now people realise it's costlier not to move. So it's like people say to me, not regarding the stock market, but when I do this, when I do that. For instance, I said before how I learned how to do my taxes, and I actually held HMRC to account and got paid compensation for finding out they were doing things wrong. I actually learned, I actually did some studying on stem cells and genomics, because I thought it was the future, and I didn't know enough about it to invest in it. And that's how I got into BNGO when it was less than a penny. And a load of others. And that's the way I see it. The way I see it is, if it's something that's going to be, if it's something that's costing me money, or something that's going to save me money, then it's worth doing. But in the past, people thought, oh, it's going to cost me this much, it's this much hassle. But you've got to look at it at how much do you get paid per hour. And if it's going to save you more than you get paid per hour, it's worth doing. Krishna, nice to see you. I haven't seen you before. Basically, topic of the day, anything you want to ask, we'll speak about. We can speak about stocks. We can speak. Well, we started speaking about the minimum wage. I was speaking earlier about how I think the Fed is going to raise interest rates. They started coming out saying they're not, but that is the type of thing they say when they're not. I think they basically at the moment they're buying up mainly bonds and mortgage-backed securities. And just to go over it again, because no one was actually in at that time, they basically, I think in the third quarter, fourth quarter, they will start weaning down the amount of bonds that they're buying, and then they will, towards the end of the year, beginning of next year, raise interest rates. So people should watch their margin, watch their debt, and make sure that they don't get hit too high by the interest rates. So if there's anything you want to ask, I also want to say, like, I know I put a lot of penny stocks out there. I do quite a few dividend stocks and value stocks as well. I gave a long list of US and UK value stocks in a previous video, but it is very important you do your own due diligence. Don't listen to any idiot on the internet, especially me, because at the end of the day, it's your money, and so you are the one responsible. There's too many people who And if someone says the market's going to do this, or this stock is going to go here, then they're lying. Basically, yeah, we were speaking about that, Krishna, how, you know, how perhaps it would be better if they do, perhaps it would be better if they do a regional a minimum wage depending on the region, rather than a blanket minimum wage, so they could work it out. But then, knowing the governments, they will probably use that as an excuse to keep down the workers, and in the richer areas make their minimum wage more. But the thing is, even in the UK, I don't know if you know this, they get around the minimum wage. The Conservatives in UK come out with what they called an apprentice scheme, which you had to go through a government website to be part of. And if you looked into it, you would find everyone wanting to employ on the apprenticeship scheme asked for people to have prior experience. So you had builders with 10 years experience trying to sign on because they couldn't get employment, and then they were told by people, well, we're not going to give you job seekers allowance because you haven't gone for any interviews. And they've gone, well, there's no interviews. They've gone, well, there's an apprenticeship there you can apply for. Gone, I don't need an apprenticeship, I'm a qualified builder. They've gone, no, you have to go for the interview, you have to go. So instead of getting paid like 300, 400 quid a day, they're getting paid 60 quid a week. So that's the way they get around it, you know. And things like my nephew, he went for he was told to go to an interview at HMV and Virgin Mega Stores and things like that, and they said to him, we want to see how you work first, and they made him do a day's work. End of the day, said, sorry, we don't think you're ready for us. And this is, my nephew is a hard worker, you know, so think how many people they get 3 days work for nothing, you know. And but then they don't realize the flip side, that these are their customers as well, that they're alienating, you know. That's it, exactly right, market scraper. Yeah, don't buy based on the conviction of others. Stock could be crap. As I said before, I come out a couple of times, got slated because I said I'm not buying this stock, I do not like this stock. But because other people were going around saying, oh, you know, we think this stock's going up, and it turned out the original people were being paid by the company to pump it, and it ended up you know, going down. And of course I looked into Nicola when it was VTIQ, and I found quite a few discrepancies, and this was Nicola's own reports, and I come out and I said it's a scam, and I got so much slating over that, especially when it started to go up. And I did my whole video showing exactly what was wrong with it, and we all know what happened there. The problem is you get some people won't do their own research, even YouTubers. They will watch other people's videos and they will take that as research. So be careful. Now, I've seen on TikTok, I've seen on other places where some people don't even know how to read a balance sheet. There was one guy saying, we make money by buying a stock here and selling here. This is the way you make money on the stock market. Thinking, hold on, it's a bit more complicated than that. And they're saying, you've got to do it when the RSI is below 30, but the RSI stands for relative stock index. I'm thinking, no, it doesn't. You know, how do these people actually have any followers? Because surely followers know that this is wrong. They only have to look it up on Google. So, you know, Krishna has been that way for a long time. The only difference now is in the past, the working class have been happy to be the working class and be get what they were given, as long as they had a roof over their head and food in their belly, and now they're not. Exactly, Colin. You know, remember, you have to hold those stocks if they are not going up. You have to be the one holding them for a long time. That's why whenever I buy a penny stock, growth stock, value stock, dividend stock, doesn't matter. Good one, Krishna. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. It doesn't matter what kind of stock I'm buying. I know I'm prepared to hold it long term. You know, but at the same time, I have never gone out trying to do videos on what's the hot new stock. That's probably why I don't have 20,000, 30,000, 80,000 subscribers. I have only gone out, when I have seen a stock I like, I've gone out to do a video. That way my subscribers would get all the run up. The reason for that is I hate it when, just for information purposes, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like to get this out to more people. But and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe as well. Anyway, the thing I hate with a lot of people is where they come out and they say, I'm going to talk about this stock. I think it can, it's my next 10, 20x stock. And we come in here, we got in at this price, we sold at this price. Everyone in my Patreon has done it. I've got nothing against them doing a Patreon, but the guys I respect are the ones who, I understand they notify their Patreon members first, but they still notify the YouTube members as well, say the next day or in a couple of days. But the ones who come out and say, we notified our Patreon members, so if you wanted to be in with us as well, then join my Patreon. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not even going to subscribe to you. If you're supposed to be there to educate and entertain, not to get money off of people. And you'll probably be getting, if you're monetized, you'll be getting money from YouTube. You'll be getting like referral links, and I realize it's not a lot, but you may be getting Patreon money, yes, but do it the right way. It's the same as people come out with witch hunts with people being paid by companies, and the reason for that is because you have so many people not clicking the button or mentioning that they have been paid. And so now everyone has a bee in their bonnet about anyone who has been paid. Me, I've never been paid. I was offered once before, when I just turned around and said to him, no thanks, my phone's too old and crappy to access all the data. It isn't, but I said to him. And then they said, well, we can send you a new phone if you want. No thanks. I was surprised they offered to send me a new phone. But I understand the temptation if you're a small YouTuber, because then you could put that money into improving your channel, and then when you're not earning anything, you all of a sudden getting dollar signs or pound signs in front of your eyes, or for some people it's not about the money. Sometimes they dangle celebrity or CEO or CFO in front of your eyes, and you think, oh, this can catapult my channel, and Exactly, Krishna. There's problem is you have a lot of people who are scammers. You have a lot of people. You have no idea how many people who message like about Bitcoin and all this, and attach them to, and I delete them as fast as I can. And then you get the ones you can easily tell the scammers when they say join my WhatsApp group and all this. I'm coming off of WhatsApp, so because of their privacy settings, I'm going to Signal. And the thing is, if Signal doesn't work, I have other platforms like Zoom or that I can use anyway. The Wkhs like FaceTime, so do I. But the thing is, it's you can tell because the person whose channel it is will be in grey. Person who isn't is just in standard white. But there are so many people, you know, when you put $1 or £1 in front of them, they will do anything to grab it. And once they've got that £1 or $1, they want more. They just can't say no to it. It's the way they are. The thing is, with stocks, like I say, I look for a number of things. I look for, make sure you want me to talk about a Bitcoin scam? Okay. I did a video on Bitcoin, and basically, what was it? A majority of Bitcoin, where is it? I'll try and go back to it on my phone. A majority of Bitcoin has been purchased through a site, and it claims that it has 1-to-1, and what is it? It claims it has a 1-to-1, so for every coin it's $1. But the problem is, it then has promotions where if you send a referral link to a friend or that, we'll give you a free one of these. I don't want to be flagged up by giving out the name again, but it is on my videos, and I go into more detail, and basically went all the way to, it says it has scarcity because only so many coins can be mined, and I think 2044 is the last last one will be mined. Now, but the thing I am worried about is the fact that this company, that a majority of crypto is purchased through, now more basically you purchase it and they say you can earn staking rewards from it. Funnily enough, you can't use it in conjunction with Coinbase or any of the ones that are regulated. It's supposed to be $1 for $1. It's supposed to keep the same as $1. Now, it's in a foreign bank, all this money. Now, once you buy the Bitcoin's not so much in your name, but theirs. You give it back to them so that they can give you the staking rewards. You earn you earn things off of them. Sometimes interest, sometimes rewards. And if with the amount of Bitcoin and other cryptos bought from this site, if it did have this amount of 1-for-1, then their bank would have had $65 billion in it. Yet the country where their bank is situated has to declare every foreign currency. And when we checked it out, the only foreign currency in the last 2 years put in for every company that is registered there was 600 million. Now, that shows red flags already. Now, it was already under investigation and having charges from the US. And what it did was it put something in so that it didn't have to answer those charges for a set amount of time. But it will have to answer them at some point. Now, the thing with it is, if it comes out that it was a con, that could drop Bitcoin. Now, if it doesn't, Bitcoin can carry on going up. The problem, because the thing about Bitcoin is it's major, but any crypto does, which is why Goldman Sachs own crypto, which actually is pegged $1 to $1, so that, because it gives them faster international transactions at a cheaper rate than they already do. And I think what will eventually happen is the government will choose a crypto, and because Bitcoin is too volatile at the moment, and say this is going to be, we're going to stabilize it, and this is going to be a thing. Now, I also think that the banks are going to allow you to buy crypto, purely because if you've already got likes of PayPal and Square doing it, and I think it will, you buying them through the banks will mean the bank won't have to set up its own crypto, but then the bank will be allowed to use the ledger, and it will be beneficial for them. Now, this is all, and this is how Bitcoin gets to 100k. But this only happens if this other company doesn't make Bitcoin crash. Now, thing about Bitcoin is there are people out there a lot more intelligent than me with regards to it. The thing is, no, I don't have a gag reflex. Sorry, I'm just a bit of a boring git, and I have a monotonous tone. Yeah, Cascane's video was very good regarding it, and regarding the sponsored videos, and the thing about Bitcoin is it's run up so much that the slightest thing can drop it. We've seen what happened when a speaker has, when the Senate has said they're going to bring in things to stop criminals using it. It dropped. Now imagine if the main company that buys it ends up being a scam. What has happened? What happens? You know, I hope that helps. I hope that helps answer you. But the thing about Bitcoin, as I said, is it costs $7,000 in energy costs to mine it. Once the halving comes, that will double. So whenever it gets below $7,000, that's when I buy. When it gets to above 20,000, I evaluate things. Last time I sold because 20,000 was the previous highs. I've obviously made a mistake this time, but at least I trebled my money. Right, I'm putting you in timeout, because you know, there is, and I'm blocking you. You know, there's no point having I'm not going to have. I don't mind a laugh and a joke. I have a laugh and a joke with the best of them, but you know, having that kind of stuff on is a bit stupid. Yeah. No, I don't want you to offend anyone else. You know. Anyway, I hope that answered your question, Krishna. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Sven is he got a lot of flack when he got a lot of flack when he first came out with his sponsored videos, and now Kcac's come out with it. They're bringing up Sven's video, and he's not getting this flack anymore. But what people don't talk about with Sven is all of his YouTube videos. Any money he gets from it, he gives to charity. People are going out asking who's the best one to pay for a course. Sven provides courses for free. So if you're looking for a course, try out Sven's course. I haven't been on it myself. I'm just saying it's free. What have you got to lose? Thanks, Krishna. Yeah, I'm making cash, but who hasn't made cash this year? Listen, the good thing about you is you tried and you try again. As long as you don't stop, then you're a winner, in my opinion. My dad, brilliant financial man. He could pick the banks. He could pick the best accounts when it come to endowments and things like that. That not only made money when other ones lost money, but beat expectations. And he's the one who got me into stocks in the first place. Problem was, the first time he lost money on a stock, he said, "Oh, I'm not putting money in stocks anymore." I said we've made more money than we've lost. I said, if you'd have put it in just a cash ISA, you'd have ended up even. You know, so you're going to lose money in the stock market. The crash has proved that. Unless you got it, the only time you've entered the market is after a crash, and you've never been through a crash. I've been through a number of them. Then you're going to lose money. So the way to see it is to make sure you stay the course, and that's why making sure you have quality companies. You can have speculative stocks. I have a number myself. You can have penny stocks, but still make sure they're not gambling stocks. Make sure their financials are secure, or there's something about them which can suffer a downturn in the market. Now, I did a poll before asking whether or not people wanted me to edit my videos. They said they would rather I got them out raw. That's why a lot of my videos come out raw. So some of the quality gets affected because of that. Now, I do a lot of research in my videos. I don't just look at a stock and think, oh, I like the name of that. I do look into them. When I started, I was spending half an hour on one company, really digging deep into them. And then I realized people were only watching for 2.5 minutes. So in the end, I made short videos, like 2.5, 5 minute videos. And I realized people weren't really watching it. So I just done short videos with a couple of stocks in a few times and done them like 7 times a day. See, Krishna, exactly. Your girlfriend lost 3 million rupiah, £250, and you're like made 10 million a couple of weeks ago. So that'll be about 800, 900 pounds. You know. So look, listen. I know someone. The first time he gambled on football, done an accumulator and won £150,000. Very next day, he went and put 50,000, and this was a time when you could buy a 3-bedroom house for 150,000. Next day, he went and put 50,000 of that on a horse that lost. His answer to me, it was 50,000 I never had the day before. And you know why you got a lot of numbers on yours? It's because of all the printing, which is what's happening at the moment with the rest of the world. And same thing happened in the likes of Ghana. Same thing happened in Germany to the mark. You know, people had to turn up with a wheelbarrow to get a loaf of bread. The very next day, they had to turn up with 2 wheelbarrows full of cash to get a loaf of bread. And that's what's happening at the moment, only on a smaller scale in the world. The USA has printed 25% of all dollars ever printed in 2020, which is a scary thought. And the UK has done a similar thing. Not quite as much, but almost. Around the world, 15 to 20% of all currencies have been printed in 2020. Now, that shows you how, if you were not in the stock market, if you are not in any asset class, it doesn't have to be the stock market, and you are losing out. A friend of mine isn't in the stock market. He loses whenever he goes in the stock market, and he's got a master's in finance. Now, yeah, what could possibly go wrong with keep printing money? But the thing he is in property, and he's an expert on watches, like quality watches like Rolex and he fixes them and everything. Now, he himself said the price of them has just skyrocketed. They usually appreciate a certain amount each year. They've just gone up so much. And I said to him, it's because of the Rona has caused depreciation of money. So people are going into any asset class. You've got people are putting so much into stocks, people putting so much into property, people putting so much into crypto, and so much into gold, silver. They're putting them in the physical stuff and into the stocks of it. And then you have the people who are putting them into other asset classes they think will go up, such as watches. No, I don't mean like the $10 one you'll find down the market. I'm talking about the ones that do hold their value. Exactly, market scraper. Or you hold some Bitcoin. Now, whatever you're into, whatever asset class you're into, reason why. See, the thing is, what I did instead of going into Bitcoin was I went into a no-lose crypto. I don't know if you know about crowdfunding. I did a lot of investing in crowdfunding, and quite a few of my companies have gone up this past year. But one of them is a crypto company. Now, with crowdfunding, I get what's SEIS tax relief, which is 50% tax relief. So I got 50% of my investment back. Any profits I get to keep as well, tax-free. As well as that, as a reward, I get 50% of my investment in the crypto. On top of that, I hold shares in the company. And these are not like shares on the stock market. These are like A-list shares that you hear about pipe investors before they go on the market. And this is a company that's already got agreements with all the venues in the UK and some of Europe. So that's how I dip my toe in crypto. Then I've gone on Coinbase because someone referred me. I got a free $8 of crypto when I deposited £66. Free £8 worth of crypto. And I have a link down below if you want to join Coinbase as well. And I picked up some. I waited. I put the money in, got a free £8. I waited, got a free crypto. As I said, when it dipped below about around 6k, I picked it up. As well as that, they ask you, watch some videos, we'll give you free crypto, which I did. So I was earning other crypto asset classes as well. And then once the crash came, I sold the other asset classes, kept the Bitcoin until it was time to sell it, and used that money for shares along with other stuff. But I have a number of different assets, not just shares, but I have a number of different portfolios. For instance, my stake account is the only place where I can get DHT tankers in the UK. So DHT, I think I got a 42% dividend on that last year. It'll give me a 15% dividend this year, and we won't know until the second quarter what the dividend will be. But it was 15% dividend last year for the first quarter until it announced the huge hike, and then it became too expensive. I think oil will hit $55 and then it will drop. The other thing is, I have Freetrade, I have Trading 212, and I have interactive brokers, because there's some penny stocks that you can't get on the others. There's some stocks on the other platforms you can't get on the others, and of course there's options as well, but I don't do options that often. I prefer to hold the shares, as I said, because the shares, it can drop, and if you're confident in them, it'll come back. Anyway, unless there's any other questions, I'll keep it there. But if there is any other questions, ask them now. Gone on a bit longer than I expected. I appreciate everyone coming in. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I do appreciate everyone joining. I will see you in the next video. I have enjoyed it quite a bit. I could talk about stocks, finance all day, but I do have other things to do, I'm afraid. Sorry, but if you do have anything else, say, now's your chance. Market Scraper, big thumbs up to you as well. I know you're a busy guy. Thank you for joining, and thank you everyone else. And I'll see you in the next one. I have just been trialing this. I'm sorry it isn't as polished as before. This is just my second attempt. Mark, Jason, thank you as well, and thank you for all your support following every video, and I'll see you in the next video. So see you later, man.